As I mentioned earlier, last Sunday we kicked off our 9-week sermon series. For those of you who weren't here last Sunday, Be the Church is kind of a motto that's been going around our United Church of Christ denomination for about 3 years now. And there are 9 value statements under that Be the Church banner that we have here in the sanctuary. And last Sunday we talked a lot about what it means to protect the environment and what we do already and what we could grow to be doing. And today we are going to continue with talking about caring for the poor. So who are the poor? Are you poor if you self-identify as poor? Or is it someone else that places that label on you? Does being poor have to do with the amount of money that you have in your bank account? Or whether or not you even have a bank account? Does it depend upon the number of material items that you own? Or can you own thousands of items and have them piled high to the ceiling but still be poor? Does being poor have more to do with the state of your spirit, your sense of fulfillment in this world? One thing is for certain, the theme of caring for whomever is considered poor is of utmost importance to God, to Jesus, to John the Baptist, the disciples, to the prophets throughout our sacred scriptures. And caring for the poor is a hallmark of what it means to be a Christian. Many of our scriptures about caring for the poor come to us from the book of Proverbs. Proverbs is a collection of wisdom written by many different people over a long span of time. That word proverb is also synonymous with general truth, advice, a wise saying, or a motto. According to the prologue or the introduction to the book of Proverbs, that book is written to give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young, and wisdom to make the wise even wiser. In these verses that we heard today, we learn that showing kindness to those in need is one way to worship God. So if you already think you know how to worship God, we learn another way, which is showing kindness to those who are in need. We learn that God will repay those who are kind to the poor for their goodness, and that blessings come to those who share what they have with others. We learn that we're called to speak out on behalf of those who cannot speak out for themselves, especially for those who are experiencing homelessness and hunger. Then when the crowds of people came out to be baptized by John the Baptist in the beginning chapters of Luke, he didn't quite sugarcoat his message. He chastised the people for claiming to be religious simply because of their heritage. In our modern day times, it might look like claiming to be religious simply because of your church membership versus the actions that one actually takes during their lifetime. So the people say, "What should we do, John?" And he said, "Let the one with 2 coats share with the one who has none. Let those who have food do the same." God desires all to have their basic needs met, not for people to be divided into the haves and the have-nots. Another text that we had this evening comes from Galatians, which is believed to be written by Paul to the church in Galatia. The text talks about the ways that they were trying to sort out who was supposed to minister to the Jews and who was supposed to minister to the Gentiles, which is the non-Jews. Paul said that no matter who does the ministering to whom, the thing to remember is to help those who are poorer than we are. Notice he didn't say it was only the responsibility of the rich to help those who are in need, but for everyone to help someone who is poorer than you, because everyone has something to offer someone else. For 9 months of last year, 2016, our National United Church of Christ denomination chose one congregation to honor each month for living out these values. And the church that they chose for recognizing caring for the poor is a church called Ebenezer UCC in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, because they launched something called Laundry Love. It was a ministry at their local laundromat. They assist those marginalized by poverty by providing the money and supplies needed to do their laundry. The Laundry Love coordinator at the church spoke this way. She said, "We're not there to judge, change, or feel sorry for those we help. We are there to give them the simple dignity of clean wash." I kept telling my pastor and his wife about my idea. Each person I explained it to agreed what a good idea it was, but we didn't know how or where to begin. At long last, the pastor asked me if I was going to do it or just keep talking about it. So in June of 2010, a team of volunteers launched Laundry Love. For several years, they've been meeting families and individuals who are in need of the laundromat to feed quarters in the machines, provide homemade soup, sandwiches, fruits, and vegetables to their guests as they get their laundry done. It began as a once-a-month ministry. By prior arrangement with the laundromat owner, they hosted a 2-hour session by providing quarters and laundry soap and softener. A typical session helps anywhere between 8 and 15 families, and the cost runs about $150 to $225 depending on the need of the evening. One gentleman who was helped, his name was Ignacio, wanted to be remembered, and he showed the church volunteer the quarters that he had left in his hand, and then put them back in his pocket and exclaimed he was very happy as he could now send that money to his family in Mexico instead of using it for his own laundry. What began as a once-a-month service project is now a weekly ministry that involves 4 different churches working together. The Laundry Love teams also collect donations of bath soap, deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste, household cleaning items, disposable razors, lotions, and other hygiene items to distribute as gifts to the people that they serve. There are as many ways to care for the poor as there are needs that arise in our lives. So perhaps the first and most obvious ways that our 2 congregations care for the poor has to do around our work of food and providing food for individuals and families. I was at a protest last Thursday, and I introduced myself to a woman who was creating a protest sign, and I said, "I'm also the pastor of Cathedral of Hope and Church of the Open Arms." And she asked, "Where are those churches located?" And I said, 3131 North Penn. She said, "Oh, I know where that is. I just went with a friend one time there to a food pantry on site." She said, "It was so cool. You are not just handed a bag of groceries that you may or may not choose for yourself and then want to leave some of it behind that would be wasted. Instead, you get to go shelf by shelf and pick out those things that you would choose for your own self." And she said, "That's a wonderful concept." And I said, "I agree with you." Here at this food pantry, we purchase the food from the regional food bank, and it costs about $300 to $1,000 a month for all the food. The food is not provided for free from the regional food bank. It must be purchased. That same amount of money, $300 to $1,000, is the same amount of money that an average family in the U.S. spends on their groceries for 1 month. So that same amount of money is used to purchase food and not only provide food for one family for 1 month, but to provide food for 300 households that are serviced by the food pantry each month here in this building. We also, Cathedral of Hope, volunteer on site at the regional food bank, and oftentimes we pack the exact pallets of food that are delivered to this very building for the food pantry. Recently, we also did the letter carriers food drive, which is where the letter carriers pick up food that people leave at their houses, and we pack it up and sort it, and then lo and behold, what do you know, about a month later, that exact same food arrived back in this building to be distributed to persons that come to the food pantry. Other ways that we care for the poor here at Cathedral of Hope is by collecting supplies and hosting fundraisers for the WINS House, which is an HIV/AIDS supportive and transitional housing, by supporting Other Options, which provides food for families that have at least one family member that lives with HIV or AIDS, and CSU Youth Services, which supports youth in crisis. Just yesterday, a number of us were in the basement for our first volunteer day with CSU. We were asked, so sisu, it doesn't stand for anything. Everybody thinks it does, but it's a word that means something that you're going to have to look up because I can't remember what it means at this moment. But it is an organization that helps out youth who are in crisis. A lot of times the youth are homeless. A lot of times the youth identify as LGBT. And in the basement there is a clothing closet with lots of clothes. The youth currently come in on Wednesdays and Saturdays. They can go through the clothing closet and pick out clothes. They can get a shower. They can get their clothes washed. They can get toiletries, food, homework help, and support from the community. Starting next month, the youth are going to be staying overnight for 2 nights a week, Sunday and Monday nights, and they're going to be in the building at the same time that we are, which I'm very excited about. Sisu's going to open up on Sunday nights at 4, and they're going to have a dinner at 5 o'clock, and of course they're welcome to join us for worship, but we may be seeing them, so just know that that's going to be happening in our building. So anyway, yesterday, a group of us gathered to sort clothing donations. We had to open up bags of clothes that had been donated and smell them and see if they needed to be washed, and then divide it into would a teenager want to wear this or not. And it was real interesting because many of our persons that were gathered there don't quite know the fashion sense of teenagers. And so everybody was holding all the clothes up to me. Pastor Taylor, do you think a teenager would wear this or not? We had a wonderful fun time, and I'm very grateful for all of those who participated yesterday. The newest ministry that we've been engaging in that allows us to care for the poor in this community is also the blessing box, which is right outside our front door. If you didn't notice, there's an armoire that you can open up, and on it says, give what you can, take what you need. All week long, I see people drive by and put in a bottle of water, a tube of toothpaste, some crackers, ramen noodles, and all week long, these windows are tinted so that you can't really see in during the day, but I can see out. And when I walk past all day long, I see people opening and taking what they need and giving what they can. And that is something that any of us can do at any time. And that's something that's open 24/7. So that's one of our newest ways that we help to care for the poor. Helping those who do not have their material needs met is not the only way that one person can feel that they are poor. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus talks about the poor in spirit. And in our first reading, we heard words from Nadia Weber that reminds us that folks can have every single material item or status symbol achieved, but they still long for the soul to be complete, long to feel loved unconditionally, to seek meaning and purpose and hope for a new life. So what are those ways that church community is capable of caring for the poor in spirit? How do we provide and foster ways to connect relationally and socially? Our book studies, our Spanish class, our fellowship time with food, our social outings, and our small groups do much more than just increase our knowledge or our cultural awareness. These functions care for those who are experiencing a poverty of spirit. Last week, we had 6 survey reflection questions to help us think about the ways that we are engaging in protecting the environment. I've narrowed it down this Sunday, so we only have 4 questions. But these are questions for us to think about and evaluate ourselves on. It's an opportunity for us to see what we are already doing, which I've talked about a little bit, but maybe you might think of some other things. And for us to think about further ways that we can continue and grow in our care for the poor. So our first 2 questions are on the screen at the same time. The first one is, as a congregation, we have worked alongside people in need to advocate for economic justice and increased social support. For example, fair wages and employment practices, nutrition programs, health care services, affordable housing, accessible transportation, child care, etc. And these are survey questions where we get to rate ourselves. So do we agree with this statement? Do we disagree with it? How do we fall along that spectrum? So take a second to think about that if you can think over our activities as a congregation. And how would you rate us on this question? And then say it out loud when you have an answer. What do you think? Alex?
I feel like many people maybe there's something right, but things as care powers for better wages, fair practices, protesting for
So being involved in protests is one way to advocate. That's true. Are there things over our 17 years of history that you remember or reflect upon that we've done? I know it's hard to sometimes remember these things, and I wasn't always here either, so I know there's a collective wisdom in our group as well. Yep. We, for a long time, have supported Wilson Elementary School, working alongside people, so that's one way that we have been engaged in social justice as well. The next question is, we have assessed what, if any, financial barriers are in place to keep lower income people from being fully engaged in the life of the congregation, and have worked to minimize or eliminate those barriers in order to provide equal access and opportunity. So this is a question for us to evaluate ourselves upon. How do we do with this question? And how could we continue to do better?
Pastor Caleb.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but one of the reasons that we wear robes as an acolyte, if you carry a cross or you light the candles or if you sing in the choir, is that way so you can feel comfortable as serving your congregation no matter what you're able to wear.
Thank you, Eric. Any other answers for this question? Thoughts? Alex?
one financial barrier that I noticed for my life was access to clothing or appropriate for the opportunities that I maybe certain people in St. Louis would set clothing that was excellent to snacks and food.
So sometimes people need access to good clothing for interviews so that they can get employment. Yeah, that's very important. All right, what is the next one? There's just one more slide. Congregants have developed meaningful relationships with individuals across a broad spectrum of economic situations, both within and beyond the congregation. How are we doing there? I might answer that one. I have never served, well, I haven't served a ton of churches in my life, but I've never even been a part of churches. So our two churches have the widest spectrum of economics that I've ever seen in my entire life. It is so different and amazing that we can all come together and fall on such different spectrums of economics and still have so much that we can come together to do and be a part of. The last question. Our congregation has collectively provided direct charitable services for individuals in need. For example, food, clothing bank, meals, shelter, gas, food vouchers, school supplies, etc. How are we doing there? I should hear everybody speaking at this time.
We're doing pretty well on this. The only thing that we have trouble with is gas and food vouchers. That's just something a lot.
Yeah. I just saw, I don't know if he's in here right now. I just saw someone dropping off donations just today in our little, we have a little wooden cart out there for laundry supplies, for school donations. I think that that's something that we are very strong on, and I'm so glad that we can continue to do that.
We used to do the Christmas baskets for the events.
Historically,
I'd like to see us do that and do it at times of the year.
Historically, we've done Christmas baskets for the Wentz houses, which I'm sure people say. Absolutely. And we can continue to grow those things that we do. Absolutely. Nancy? Yeah. So every January, We've been making scarves for Wilson Elementary kids during the winter. Taking, I don't know what you call that, it's not flannel, what is it? Fleece. Taking the fleece and cutting them into beautiful strips, and they're just beautiful fleece patterns that kids love, and delivering those to the elementary school. Absolutely. Any others? Well, I know that no congregation is going to be 100% on every single value, but I think that this is a value that we're pretty strong in here at the poor. But we can always grow and expand our ways as we live into this value. May it be so.